And I never got to 2 Corinthians 12. Let me tell you something. When I was in middle school, I sure could have used 2 Corinthians 12. Because in 2 Corinthians 12, there's a guy named Paul. Heard of him? Paul starts telling the story of the fact that he had buttons in the back of his head too. He said, to keep me from becoming conceited because of these surpassingly great revelations, there was given to me a thorn in my flesh. A messenger of Satan to torment me. And for 3 times I pleaded with the Lord to take it away from me. Paul took a day off from starting churches and writing the New Testament. He took a day off to focus on himself. And all I could think was, God, if I was just younger, or God, if I just had a degree like him, or if I could just sing like her, or if I was just taller, or faster, or thinner, or bigger. And he had all these reasons why God could use him if he was just somebody else. And that was me. I just assumed other people God could use so much better than me. And when I was in college, guys started calling. I'm not wandering off the stage, by the way. You think ADD guys just walking off and walking. You there? If you're sitting next to someone with ADD, here's what they're doing a lot. What did he say? Come back to us. So when I was about 20, God started calling me to ministry, and that totally freaked me out. I mean, I've spent a lot of energy staying off of one of these stage type things where all the people are facing me. And for the sake of the story, I try to remember what exactly went through my head the day I jumped, but I just jumped. I think it had been the ADD, because God was calling me to something, and Satan was probably going, let me reach for this, and I was going, just off. And in 1 week's time, I moved out of the house, moved out of the state, I got married, and I started ministry school in Florida in about a week's time. It's as though God knew I was listening for a second. He just dumped it all on me there. And because I sang with my dad in church, I thought, well, maybe that's the ministry, because I didn't know what else I would do. And since I sang sometimes, I thought, well, I'll just major in music. So I'm down there, and I'm in my first day of school. I'm signed up. I'm in orientation class before I remember something. I don't read music. Yeah. It was a long day. Harsh day. They load us all into this music hall, music suite thing, right? And so here we are, about 40 40 music majors, and we're all in there, and it's like the best of the best from every church. I mean, you sing, big deal. Everybody sings. You play something, whoopee-doo. The janitor plays guitar better than you do. You know, you stay in a small enough bowl, you can be a big fish. But I'm Nemo in the ocean today, you know. And the head of the music department comes in, and he just scared me to death. This guy just smelled smart, you know. And he starts explaining to us all exactly what we're going to do today. And he said, we're going to take a test. The word test does to me what the blue lights in your rearview mirror do to you, you know. Because I don't do tests. I even if I know the answer, I can't figure out how you're asking the question to tell you the right way. Some of you know what I'm saying. And he said, we're going to take a test, guys, and you're going to have 2 hours to complete this test. And we will decide from this where you begin in your major, whether or not you even should major in music at this university. And I sat in the room as they began to pass this test out, and he prayed. And when he said amen, it was like the sound of thunder, the pencils tearing this test to pieces. I'm in the back of the room watching these people. It looked like they were writing in a coloring book. It's like it was nothing for them. And I start looking down at this test, and I start reading it, and I didn't know any answers to this test. I didn't know one. And I began to wonder, well, how am I going to get out of here without anybody noticing? And 8 minutes in to my 2-hour test, I signed my name to my paper, and I walked through all of those people, and I could just feel them looking up at me. And I walked all the way to the front, and I put my test face down in front of Dr. Malone. And I walked out of that room. I didn't think I'd ever see any of them again because I was going home. And I was deciding what I was going to tell my wife and how I was going to word this to my family. And I was walking home. It was a straight shot from the building, the music building, to our apartment. But God, in His sovereignty, 100 years before that day, planted this big chapel between me and my house.